Hey everybody, my name's Colin Price, and I'm wanting to do a kind of video review blog about the movies that were either given a very limited release or not received well by critics, or for whatever reason are kind of overlooked, kind of swept under the carpet, so to speak, in terms of mainstream cinema. This blog will focus mainly on horror films, as I think that that's the genre that, one, gets the worst rap in terms of quality and in terms of what it brings to the table, but also, two, because I feel like every time I'm in a theater and I see a trailer for a horror movie, it always says somewhere in the trailer, from the people that brought you Insidious, from the people that brought you The Conjuring, from the people that brought you Sinister, from the people that brought... It doesn't take too long before you figure out these are the same people. I feel like horror is being treated in the mainstream like this kind of fast food cash cow that isn't really given a lot of room to exercise and be as creative as some of these older films that, you know, most people don't know about. So I'm creating this video blog to talk about those movies. Now, just to say older doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be talking about the classics. I'm not going to be reviewing the Freddy Krueger films. I'm not going to be reviewing the Jason films. I'm not going to be reviewing the Chucky films. I think that those movies, and you know, The Shining, The Exorcist, Carrie, all those movies are movies that have already been talked about for so long by so many people. You know, go on IMDb, look up one of the hundreds of reviews for each of those titles. You don't have to listen to me talk to you about them. But there are these other films that I think aren't talked about enough. So, let's get started with my first review. This is a movie that's very near and dear to my heart. This is a movie that I saw for the first time about 15 years ago, and ever since I saw it, I really haven't shut up about it. Most people who know me will tell you that. I have not really shut up in the last 15 years about the movie Night of the Demons. Night of the Demons was written and produced by Joe Augustine and directed by Kevin S. Tinney. The film came out in 1987, and it kind of came out at a time where kind of the MPAA and just critics in general were really quick to slap negativity on the horror and slasher genres. At this point, we had seen a lot of sequels from Freddy and Jason, you know, and at this point, it seemed like every couple of weeks there was some new slasher movie out. I think Night of the Demons kind of got the shaft here, because Night of the Demons to me is one of the most creative, creepy, and funny movies of the 80s. The plot behind the movie is very simple. There's this goth girl named Angela Franklin. She's played by Amelia Kincaid. And Angela decides she wants to throw a Halloween party. Cool. She wants to invite her friends to this Halloween party. Cool. She wants to have this party at a supposedly haunted funeral home. Not cool. I basically just made it out to sound like Angela's the main character. She's not. The reason that I felt the need to kind of put the plot synopsis from her perspective is because she's the only character who shows up through all three Night of the Demons films. She's the girl who throws the party. She's the girl who turns out to be the villain of these films. And to the best of my knowledge, was the first franchisable female horror villain. She invites her friends, like I said, and we get this kind of mixed bag of horror movie stereotypes. There's Judy, the virgin girl, played by Kathy Podwell, and she's basically, you know, she's the girl next door. She's very cute, she's very chipper, but she's also very naive. She's the kind of girl you'd take out on 2 dates, and then by the third date, wonder if they even knew that they had gone through puberty yet. Also, there's a couple of troublemakers in the group. There's Stooge, played by Hal Havens. one of the funniest characters. Everything the guy says is a stitch. And I honestly think that Stooge and this other character named Roger, played by Alvin Alexis, eventually became the basis for Bulk and Skull in the Power Rangers. Tell me you don't see a similarity between this and this. I honestly think Power Rangers kind of ripped that one off. Congratulations. Otherwise, in this kind of grab bag of characters, we have the ditzy blonde, who's played by Linnea Quigley of Return of the Living Dead fame. I actually got to meet Linnea and a bunch of the cast members about a year ago and got her to sign my Blu-ray. That was pretty sweet. There's her, and the only other person really that I would like to make mention of is this kind of punk New York kind of De Niro-ish character, played by Billy Gallo. Billy Gallo, if you don't know who that is, that's fine. I'm going to tell you who that is. He's the pimp in Pretty Woman. That's right. The pimp in Pretty Woman plays a character in a slasher movie named Sal Romero. Romero. That's pretty cute. Night of the Living name drop. Anyway, if you think that Richard Gere having somebody pull a gun on him in Pretty Woman wasn't enough retribution, you can watch this movie and watch him get impaled on a fence. There you go. Just saved you that. Every time you watch Pretty Woman, now you're going to think of that. The party isn't exactly hopping after everyone's there, however, and Angela decides to spice up the proceedings by getting everyone together to have a seance, which we all know is the perfect thing to do in a haunted location in a 80s horror movie. Thanks, Ange. Before you can say Evil Dead, there's this demon who kind of looks like Smaug had sex with something off of the Red Lobster menu. And this demon comes out of the cellar and possesses everybody one by one. What's great about this movie is this demon can only possess you by either killing you or making out with you. So through this movie, we're kind of treated to these scenes of grotesque, over-the-top gore and gratuitous nudity, and that's just always so much fun. Ultimately, it's up to Judy, the virgin girl that I told you about, and Roger, the black character that I mentioned earlier, and here's a special treat for you. The black guy in this movie not only doesn't die halfway through it, he lives and he saves the day. Go Innovation. I'm proud of you, movie. At the end of the day, this is a movie where a lot of really wacky things happened. I think what separates Night of the Demons from other films of its ilk is that it's so low budget. When you have sequences like Linnea Quigley doing what I can only refer to as the most unique lipstick magic trick I've ever seen, and scenes like Millie Kincaid's Angela warming her hands in the fireplace, letting them catch on fire so she can do this cute, I'm warming my hands in the fire kind of shot. Those are real easy tricks, but they're done so effectively here. Night of the Demons is the perfect movie to grab a six-pack and sit down and watch and chill. It's the perfect movie to really not give a crap. I think this is pure horror comedy entertainment at its best, with an emphasis on the horror. And the music was excellent in this movie. I mean, they really had this kind of punk rock feel toward it that you don't see in a lot of horror movies, especially in the 80s. The film opens with this amazing synthesized score over the animated title sequence. These days, an animated title sequence doesn't seem far out, but in 1987, for a slasher film, you didn't really get things like that. All in all, Night of the Demons, 4 stars. All the way. Love this movie. It's one of the top 5 horror movies on my book. pretty soon I mean to do reviews for Night of the Demons 2 and Night of the Demons 3, which I'm not that thrilled about the last one. But also I'll be putting up some reviews of other films. If there's a horror movie or a fantasy movie that you think is underrated or overlooked that you would like to hear my opinion on, please mention in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do about getting that video done and put up for you. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for more of Priceless B Movies.